This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. Before I get to Manny here, I got to ask you something, Sean. Why didn't Sunoco just dominate the entire country? They're trusted in racing fuel and airplane fuel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because Sunoco was enormous when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then it died down. And then
you'll find one every once in a while.
And you wouldn't know. For a while, you wouldn't even find a Sunoco. Then they started to make a little bit of a comeback, and now you'll see Sunocos every once in a while in different places.
But is it a regional thing, though? Like,
I don't know, but like if you go to airports, they're filling the damn planes. Mm-hmm. And then we're here on the track, and Sunoco dominates, and it's all and then I'm thinking, like, what happened to our cars? Like, are they giving us the shitty gas? Saving all the good gas for the race cars and for the planes? I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Plus, it's a cool looking brand, Sunoco. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's get to a little Miami Hurricanes. Can they use a little jet fuel this week for that offense, that defense there, Manny?
They might need some jet fuel, man. I mean, Duke's not a bad football team. They should have beaten North Carolina last week, and they're 4-3. And quarterback's a good player. They got a good guy at quarterback. They got a defense that plays scrappy under Mike Elko. So they'll need some jet fuel to win this week. Somebody's gonna have to make some plays for Miami.
By the way, isn't it interesting that Sunoco dominates?
Yeah, it is.
Gas for race cars.
Right.
And then every plane you fly in is pretty much filled in by Sunoco gas.
Right.
And how have they not dominated gas period for our cars?
I guess they dominate there. They dominate there and let everybody else fight over the consumer products. Maybe that's where that's how they survive.
I guess. But it's like I was telling you, remember when we were kids, Sunoco was around and then it kind of died out and then it's made a little bit of a comeback and now there are more Sunoco stations you'll run into. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I always find myself that if I need gas and I see a Sunoco, I always stop at Sunoco because I say, if these mother effers can fill race cars and airplanes, then I can trust them for my car. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Marathon or Sunoco. No, I'm going to go Sunoco, bro. Come on, Anyway, these are things that just go through my mind. I don't know. What can I tell you? All right. So, tomorrow when we're at Walk-Ons, I mean, the good thing is we'll be enjoying some delicious food, but I'm just afraid that the food, after a while may not feel good because I'm watching that game. So how much should we be fearful? Because you kind of gave us a little taste of it. Like, hey, Canes fans, don't think you've got this one in the bag right away. You're going to have to earn this bitch.
Well, I think Mario pretty much said it right a couple of weeks ago when he said we're not the kind of team that can blow anybody away. They're going to win most games by a touchdown or less, and I think last week was proof of it. Even if you're up 20-0 at Virginia Tech and playing really well through three quarters, this is the kind of team that we've seen fall apart rather quickly, right? Or struggled at the beginning time. Mostly.
Yes.
In fact, I would say it's more the other way around. Usually they're fighting back to win a game. Than they are jumping out in front and taking a big lead. So, I think it's going to be a dogfight this week. I know the line is close to 9 points now or whatever.
9 points now. Miami over and under is 58.
I would be stunned.
And Miami is minus 325 on the money line. So Vegas has a lot of confidence in this game, more than I have.
Well, maybe I would say the only thing that might happen to Duke is they played such an emotional game last week, right? And they've lost a couple now in a row by a field goal or less. With what happened with UNC and then with Georgia Tech as well. That maybe that's kind of wearing on them a little bit emotionally, but I don't think this is the kind of group that's going to carry that with them. They've lost. They lost to Kansas early in the year, came back, played well, and to me, I think. Miami's the more emotional wreck these days than Duke is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I worry about it, man, big time with this game. Running, how important will it be? I mean, it's always important, but I just feel like you got to be able to run the ball in this game.
Well, you got to be able to, and ultimately that's why Mario cares so much about it, because the teams that win are able to do both. You can't just throw the ball all over the yard and get big plays and win. I mean, it'd be great if you could score 8 touchdowns with 50-yard bombs down the field with Tyler Van Dyke. That's just not realistic. I mean, this team has to sort of chop its way up and down the field, and you need the running game to keep the other team honest. And so if Henry Parrish is back this week, which is what most expect, then that'll definitely help the running game. I mentioned it on your show before. I think our Tuesday night show, that he's the 4th most elusive back in the ACC, and the guys in front of him are all legit dudes. So it's not like it's some bogus stat. Izzy Nakanda from Pittsburgh, the kid from Clemson. Those are the guys kind of sitting in front of him in that category. So obviously Parrish is a good player. He's averaging close to 5 yards a carry. I just think, the offensive line, they got to help him a little bit more, get a little bit more pushed. I will say this Duke defensive line isn't bad. They've got some good players there, especially the defensive tackle. So I think, it won't be easy for Miami to just come out and run for 200 yards in this game. But if they can run for 120, 130, have a little bit more balance, that'll help their cause.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it would help the cause. It would help Van Dyke. It would make his life a little easier. You can keep their offense, off the field. Hey, listen, for the line, for the offensive line, that's going to be a challenge against that defensive line. They've got some guys that can push some people around.
They do, and they can get to the quarterback. They can, and one thing Duke does really well is protect the quarterback. And I don't know how much of that is just Riley Leonard being elusive back there, but they do a pretty good job protecting the quarterback as well. They don't give up a ton of sacks, which really that's Miami's strength, right? The last 2 weeks they have 11 sacks, and putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks with just 4. That's why Miami is still capable of winning right now. Because they're only scoring in the 20s. They're not putting up a ton of points, and the reason why they're in these games with North Carolina, with Virginia Tech last week, is because their defensive line is so dominant up front, and you have guys like Akeem Mesidor making plays. This is the kind of game where it's going to be more important to stop Riley Leonard when he takes off and runs than it is necessarily getting him down and sacking him, because that's what makes Duke tough to stop, is when Leonard is on the run and he's making plays with his feet. So that'll be the important factor in today's game, or tomorrow's game.
Tomorrow's game, yes. Yeah. We look at the wide receivers. I think are we watching them turn the corner finally now with Colby and
you got to
Frank and those guys now? It looks like they finally found the guys that they can count on, and hopefully also the tight end can play, because I think Mallory has been a real difference maker this year when he's on the field.
Yeah, the last few weeks, Mallory's been really, really good, and really, started to play like the guy you hoped he could be. That's going to be important for Miami. I don't know if it's between the concussion or the shoulder. He's injured the shoulder in the past, so I kind of give it a joint type of injury type thing. You hope that he was able to get some practices in this week and actually be out there. We don't know, because Mario doesn't even let us out on the field anymore. Ever since we were reporting on injuries. So it's tough for us to get any intel on that with our own eyes. We have to depend on others. So if Mallory doesn't play this week, you'll see, some of their other guys like Jaleel Skinner who can make some plays in the passing game. But you're right. I mean, they need their tight ends in this game. I do think the receivers have turned the corner, and you have to give Josh Gaddis credit. When the season started, to lose Xavier Restrepo after 2 games, didn't help things. He's your most dependable guy, and now you had to kind of groom other guys to get ready. And Colby Young, what he's done the last 5 quarters, because he didn't even play the first 3 quarters against North Carolina, just the 4th quarter. But these last 5 quarters have been really, really impressive. It feels like they've got a true number 1 receiver now with Colby Young, and I mean that in the sense of true number 1 in the ACC, not when you have to go play real teams. I think Colby Young is probably more like a number 2 in a big time offense, but very good, reliable hands, big guy. And Frank Ladson is becoming reliable, which he really wasn't for most of his career. So I think those 2 guys, and then Brashard Smith in the slot, some of the catches he made last week were impressive.
How concerned should you be, or we all should be, about the secondary going up against Duke?
Well, that's the ultimately what this team's when the defense breaks down, it's because the safeties gamble, because they make dumb plays, right? When Cam Kitchens and James Williams, don't do their job, if they blow an assignment off, they don't drop back in coverage, or they come up and they miss a tackle, I mean, that's the last line of defense. So you need those guys to play excellent this week. It's going to be a challenge with Riley Leonard taking off and running. It's going to be a challenge for Corey Flagg. We know he doesn't have the speed to keep up with these quarterbacks out of the backfield. Keontre Smith, those are the guys. Wesley Basaint, now that he's starting to get better at linebacker, those are the guys that are going to be key in this game. Dukes has some receivers that can make plays, but I don't fear Duke's receivers. I don't go into this game saying, man, there's NFL guys at the wideout position that these cornerbacks can't cover. I think this is more about what happens when Riley Leonard escapes the pocket and he makes a play with his legs. Are the guys going to be able to bring him down up front? And if he gets to that second level, are the safeties going to be able to bring him down, because he's got breakaway speed? And so that's the challenge this week. Cam Kitchens and James Williams playing disciplined in the back, not letting anybody get over the top, and then everybody doing their job once Leonard decides to take off and run.
What's the prediction, Doggy? What do you think happens?
I got the Canes winning because they're at home. I think it'll be another heartbreaking loss for Duke, but it's not going to be by 9 points. I got the Canes winning 27-24. I think Borregales is doing a good job as a kicker. I think he'll be big in this game, making some field goals, and I don't think the Canes score in the 30s, bro. I just think it's another week.
And I'm so with you. I think the Canes eke one out, and I think it's a layup. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. You make your own decisions out there. You do your own homework.
Exactly.
But the way I'm looking at it, this is a layup with Duke. Take the 9 points. I don't think Miami covers. I don't think they're good enough to cover by 10 or more at this point in time. So unless Duke comes in here and starts throwing the ball away and just giving up the ball a ton, and I don't think that's going to happen either, I think it'll be an ugly, tight game, but Miami will eke it out. I'm with you there.
And this is the way I would expect the rest of the season to go, except probably when they play Clemson or Florida State, who I think right now you put them on the field with both of those teams, they probably don't beat either one of them.
Right. So they get blown out by Clemson. FSU, you'll lose. Maybe not get blown out, but you'll lose for sure. Yeah, it looks like it right now because FSU looks like the better team.
I would say the rest of the competition is kind of on Miami's level in terms of the way that they're performing. I mean, last night's result is a perfect example, right? Virginia's been terrible all year, but then they go and they beat Georgia Tech, who was playing well. So it's and they're all touchdown or less games. Oh, you just look at every score in the Coastal. They're all close, miserable football games. So.
There you go. All right. Hey, don't forget, folks, go to caneswear.com. You can order anything with a Canes logo. They've got Dolphin gear. They've got Inter Miami gear. They've got Miami Heat gear. They've got Florida Panthers gear. You can also go to caneswear.com. If you order over $99, you will get free shipping, and you will freak out on how fast they ship it. So it doesn't matter where you live. You're going to go, wow, I got this fast. And that's because Brett, Jeff, all the guys out there and ladies, they work quickly at Caneswear. Go to the website or visit them at 2511 South University Drive in Davie. It's Caneswear, baby. Canes_wear on Twitter. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. Hopefully we'll have a happy post-game show, and we'll talk to you then.
Please God, I don't want any more miserable post game.
I'm with you, bro. People don't get it. It's like really the media normally, most media members, they want the teams to win. It's so much better. It sucks to cover losing and all kinds of crap. They think we enjoy that, and really, it's not fun, dude.
No, and I've done this for too long, covering miserable losing teams. So I'd like for the narrative to change.
No, just think about somebody coming up to you and talking about a crappy day you had. Right. Hey, brother. Hey, how was your day today? Because, man, you effed up every order you took in that restaurant today. How do you feel? It's like, hey, you see, you didn't get a lot of tips. Why? Because your service sucked today? Nobody ever comes up and tells you that, right? But that's our jobs to ask you, hey, why did you suck? Right. And it's tough, dude. It's tough. It's not fun. It's better. Hey, tell us about those 3 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, I had this, that, whatever. And everybody loves talking about good stuff.
Yeah, 100%. All right, brother. Take care, man. Talk to you tomorrow.
Follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro. That's our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.